Myth number 1, I need strong abs to be able to sing. Well, actually, we don't. Breath support is about coordinating the muscles in our core that control the flow of air out with our vocal fold closure. It's not actually about using our abdominal muscles and building them up for strength. It's about how we use our intercostal muscles, some of our abdominal wall muscles, to control the amount of air and the rate of flow of air as it comes out of our body to sing. Myth number 2, we sing from our diaphragm. Well, the diaphragm is a really important muscle. It's part of our respiratory system, but it's an involuntary muscle. It does its own thing. We don't feel it. We can't control it. We think we can, but actually we can't. What we can control is the muscles around it, the abdominal wall, the rib intercostal muscles. They're the muscles we can control, which will have some effect on the diaphragm. So that's important. But we don't actually sing from our diaphragm. We sing using the muscles around our core of our body. Myth number 3, I need to push my stomach in or pull it out or do some of those things when I'm singing. Absolutely not. You don't need to push or pull anything. Your body knows what to do. When you have everything coordinated and you're using the right muscles in the right way, everything will just flow. And a lot of breath management is about relaxing this area around the middle of your body, especially for the inhalations. Myth number 4, we need big breaths to sing. We need to take big breaths and sing with lots of air. Most singers, when they're starting out and learning, take too much air in, and that creates all sorts of tension that we don't want in our body. So we don't need to fully fill our lungs up as if we're running a marathon. We just need to take a conversational breath, just enough air to get us to the next phrase. So yes, we don't need as much air as we think. Myth number 5, well, I must need more air to sing loud. Volume is about resonance, cord closure, and efficient airflow. It's not just about how much air you use. So no, we don't need more air to sing loud. We just need to be smarter about how we sing. Most singers realize they need some help with breath support when things like a breathy tone or a forced tone crop up, or they have problems tuning, or they want to sing a smooth legato line, but they're singing choppy, and a whole range of other things, like being able to hold long notes for any length of time, or that they have to take a lot of extra breaths. Now, there's other things at play in all of those, but breath management or breath support is the number one fundamental thing that we need to be able to sing well in any genre. The goal of this course is to help singers to understand, experience, and learn how to use their breath for singing well. This course runs over 28 days, and every day you'll get between 5 and 9 minutes of tailor-made breath support exercises delivered to your inbox. Now, they come in the form of audio files, so you can listen to them and practice along with me each day. Week 1 is about awareness and the sensations of natural breathing or diaphragmatic/abdominal breathing that we use for singing. That's what that week is all about, so that you feel what that feels like in your body. Week 2 is all about fast, silent inhalations. Singing requires fast breaths and slow out breaths. So fast inhalations and slow out breaths. And that's what that week is all about. Week 3 is about applying breath support to your vocal range and also to dynamics. In other words, to volumes, to soft and louds. That's week 3. And week 4 is about consolidating the learning, applying breath support to your songs, and developing good habits for the future so that you've got good breath support going forward. At the beginning of the course, I've included a lesson on respiratory physiology, which I think will be really useful if you're not aware of how the whole thing works. It's good to know. So not required, optional, but probably useful. One of the main areas of confusion I see in new singers is a tendency for them to use high chest breathing or forced inhalation instead of normal tidal breathing or resting breathing that we should be using for singing. So as you're sitting there, let's look at this diagram I'm about to put up and know which way the air is flowing in and out of your body, because then it makes a lot of sense as to which way your body feels when the air is going in and out. So as we inhale, the air comes down from our nose and mouth into our lungs and fills up those lungs. Not completely full, as we said, just comfortably full. And then when we sing on the exhaled breath. So naturally, the expansion that we felt is going to diminish as we use the air up to sing. In high chest breathing or forced inhalation, the shoulders and the upper chest are going to go up as we inhale. Let's just do it the wrong way, but let's do it anyway. And then everything kind of goes down on the exhalation. That's not what we do for normal breathing. That's not the way you breathe all day and all night. You would be using natural abdominal/diaphragmatic breathing. And that's what we make use of for singing. The only time we really want to use high chest breathing is when we are really puffing and out of breath, like you've run up the block and back again, and you need to get a lot of air in quickly. Your body will start using the top half of your chest. But pretty much we don't use it other than that. What actually happens in our body when we take a normal, natural inhalation is 4 things happen, and they happen pretty much automatically. The first thing that happens is that our soft palate raises up, which is at the back of our top of our mouth at the back. If you put your tongue at the top of your mouth right behind your teeth, you'll feel a hard palate, and then slide it back and you'll feel that spongy area. It goes up by itself as we inhale, especially through the nose. And then what also happens is that the lower ribs expand. So these ones here, these ribs here, they expand. The diaphragm drops down, so it's resting up here normally, and then it contracts down to allow the lungs to fill, and our pelvic floor widens. So all of that happens on the inhalation. Now, in the course, I talk about these 4 gestures. So there's a time when I ask you to breathe in through your nose and take a nice full breath and do one of those gestures. So the gesture for the soft palate raise, I like to use a kind of a cupped hand. The rib expansion, I like to use that one, but you can choose your own, of course. The diaphragm goes down and the pelvic floor widens. You can choose any of those gestures to do as we get to that bit in the course. Lastly, before you start the course, look at some of the things that are in the course that I want to further explain so that you know what I'm talking about when you get to those points. The first one is good alignment. I mention it many times. We do need to have our body in good alignment in order to breathe well. It's vital. We used to call it posture, good posture, which I suppose you could, but to me, posture kind of sounds a bit rigid and held, and we don't want that to be the case. We want to be flexible and loose, but in good alignment. So the main thing is that your head and neck are in good alignment. So your ear holes are over the tops of your shoulders, and that we don't have the old, looking forward because we've been using our tablet or our phone so much. So it's getting this in good alignment, which is important, and that your shoulders are relaxed, but they're not hunched forward. They're relaxed and down, and you have a feeling of width across your sternum. So width and I think proud, and then this all feels like it's up and open. And then this allows all of the bottom half to do its job. So that's what I mean by good alignment. And you can be in lots of different positions and still have good alignment. You don't have to be standing up straight. You could be lunging forward, for example, with one thigh taking the weight, and you'll still have good alignment if this is in its position where it needs to be. But nothing is held, nothing is tense. We want to make sure we have a lot of flexibility and looseness, especially in our neck and our jaw, that this area here is flexible and ready to do what it needs to do. We're not holding stuff in or out. It's just being able to do what it needs to do. Now, during the course, I'll ask you to put one hand on your tummy and one hand on your back, in the middle of your back. And so that's what I mean. It's like that and that. And then you're going to lean over and face the floor. So you'll have your feet hip width apart and your knees are unlocked, and then you're just going to tilt forward and do the exercise. So that's what I mean. I call that a sandwich breath because it's like your body's in the middle of a sandwich between your arms. We'll be doing some straw phonation during the course, and I suggest that you have either a tall glass of water or, even better, a water bottle, because it can splash around a bit when you're getting used to doing straw phonation. And so I've got a water bottle that's about 3/4 full, maybe half full, and a thickish straw. So not one that's super thin, because a super thin one is going to be very challenging and we don't want to use force, to blow bubbles. So when you put the straw in the water, the deeper you put it, the harder it's going to be. So just try about 1 inch in and then blow bubbles. So you'll need a thick shake straw and a bottle of water. And we'll maybe get a couple of different size straws. So straw phonation. The other thing that we'll be doing frequently throughout the 4 weeks in the course is learning to trill, lip trill. It's one of the best exercises for coordinating your air with your voice. Now, the way that I describe to do it is that and not everyone has to do this, but a lot of people find it's helpful. First of all, you need to have a nice relaxed mouth, especially lips, very relaxed lips. And if you had dimples, where would you push in those dimples? So my dimples would probably be there. So it's quite close to your mouth, and then you're going to kind of pucker up your lips like this. But they're very relaxed. They're not tense. So you've got to have relaxed lips. And then it's like, the horse sound when horses go. That's what we start with. And then we add sound to it. But that is what I'm talking about with a lip trill. Now, you may not need to do this. You can also do it with one hand or not at all. I find it much easier much more efficient for me if I do this. And if you're unable to get it, because sometimes it takes a while, you can swap out the trill, keep working on it to get it, but while you're trying to get it, swap it out for a tongue trill instead. And if you can't do that, that's okay. You could do a trumpet, or puffy cheek, which some people call it, which is where you fill up your whole face with sound and air like that, and then you just allow a little bit of a gap at the lips. And you sound like a trumpet. It's not tense. Your lips need to be quite relaxed, and you're just letting everything fill up and then having a little slit right there. If that's eluding you, you could go to an M and just do a hum. Make sure you have some space between your teeth inside when you're doing the hum. Or an N, or an NG, like sing. So there's some alternatives to the trill if you're having trouble doing it, but keep working on getting it because it's fantastic. Don't give up. And lastly, let's do your baseline breath support and see how you are with your breath support. And it's a nice thing to do as the baseline, and then we'll be doing it a few times, 3 or 4 times, I think, during the course, and then, of course, once at the end to see what improvement we've made. So the breath support baseline test that I do, which we're going to do now, is simply a full breath in, or comfortably full breath in, and then a very long hiss. And make that hiss clear and not just keep it consistent. It's consistent and clear, but very slow, and go for as long as you can. Now I'm going to time you. You could also just stop this video and time yourself on your phone if you want to, but we can do it right now if you like. So let's inhale in a second, and then we'll start, and I'll count up to 45. Now, you may get to 13, 15, 20, it doesn't matter. Here we go. Breathing in, full breath, and go. 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 seconds, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. So take note of what you did. How far did you go? How long did you run for? And a lot of people, it's 20 seconds, 13, it doesn't matter. It's your starting point. And the goal is to increase that by a few seconds a week. And ideally, at the end of your journey with breath support, you can get to 40 to 45 seconds. That would be awesome. So I really hope you enjoy the course, and I'd love to hear how you are traveling with your breath support journey. Bye.